Hey there, traders. This is the Bitcoin Beast talking at you, and today we're going to go over. It's kind of a supplement or a making simplifying dollar cost average beast mode even more so. So I realize maybe some people don't understand Bollinger Bands and things like that. So I want to talk about the Bitcoin seasons today. Now, before I do that, I want to go back to the previous video where I talked about uh, the way that I dollar cost average beast mode using Bollinger Bands and using uh, the halving and things like that. And what you might have noticed, I don't know if you might have noticed it or not, was that each halving doesn't always have an effect right away on the price of Bitcoin. As you can see right here, there was several months before it started to take off, and even then, that first pump wasn't all that great. And then the second pump happened was almost 6 months later. So it's not something that generates right away. It's something you have to be patient on. That's why I use weekly and monthly time frames, and you'll see. Uh, but it did take off pretty quick in the beginning. This line here was when this was the last halving here, and then this line here, right around here, like I said, this is when I first learned about Bitcoin. And then if we go on further, you see it took several months. These are weekly candles. Each candle represents 1 week of time. There were several months where it would just kind of ground up before it actually explodes up. So it may take a little bit of time. Other times it might not take as long. Like this one here, it only took a couple months, and boom, we exploded. So it does. So what I did is I came up with what I call the Bitcoin seasons. This makes it a little bit simpler for you to understand. Got away from most of these lines. I still use a couple. These are these squiggly lines here. These are 21 monthly moving averages. Now we're on the monthly chart, making things even more macro or more bigger picture. And I divided it up into seasons. And these lines here dictate what the season's like compared to the price. And a Bitcoin summer begins when you have, this is actually, well, this is when I started here, but the actual Bitcoin summer probably started, it started on this candle right here. Actually, this candle right here is where Bitcoin summer started, this candle with the big wicks on either end. And what that means is that it closes out above, it has its low and its high above the 21 month moving average. That's what kicks off the summer, the actual summer, and then so it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, and then it exploded up in the seventh month. Then we had this big, you know, this is back in 2014, so there was a lot of wasn't as nearly as much liquidity or much money sloshing around, so price could be pushed around pretty easily. And then when price touches the bands again, that's when it becomes Bitcoin fall. And so this is a time you might want to consider harvesting any type of. I don't ever sell my Bitcoin. I might spend some of it, but I never sell it. Uh, but if you, I use this for dollar cost averaging into alternative coins, and I'm going to get into that in the next video on how I do that. But I wanted to explain the seasons before. I had to explain the seasons before I could talk about that. And then so once these lines turn red, have all three of them turning red, that starts the Bitcoin winter. Also, when one of the red candle closes inside the bands, opens or has its high and its low inside the bands, that's the beginning of Bitcoin winter. So this is the time when you want to be dollar cost averaging like a madman. This is when you want to be buying things, selling your furniture and buying Bitcoin. So we go down here, and it'll drop down even below. This is really when you want to think about it. This is when everybody's scared. Everybody's saying Bitcoin's gonna die and everything else. But this is the time you want to be mortgaging your house. You want to be selling your furniture and things like that, because it's gonna go up because it has a fixed demand. That's why it will go up, or a fixed supply. Sorry. of 21 million. 21 million will only ever be made, and because of proof of work is the superior proof of work, and I'll have a video about that in the near future. Uh, it's never going away. So this is the time that you want to be really heavily dollar cost averaging in, and then we come up into Bitcoin Spring. Here's the Bitcoin Spring again. See, now we've closed back up in to these. These are starting to turn blue again. So that means it's recovering. It is new growth, new opportunity, new. Uh, so we move on, and then once again we get a green candle where its high and its low are outside the bands. Summer has begun. And then we caught a dip at the same time. It doesn't always happen like that, but as you can see, this will vary. There's no the cycles do happen, but they don't happen on a perfect time period. It'll expand out. That's where we use price as a gauge. And then so we go into Bitcoin summer, and this summer lasted even longer. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 months before we touched that. That's a year and a quarter. So these summers can last a long time. That was 2017. This is the first big bubble when everybody started talking about it, and then this was the month where they brought in the Bitcoin futures, and I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere at that point. And so we touch and we go back in the fall. This is, again, most of the time you want to start thinking about harvesting, especially early fall. That's the time you want to think about harvesting, and as I said, I'll get into that harvesting alternative coins in another video. So again, now we're back into winter. Now this winter was pretty short. This was in the 2018 to 2019. So this winter was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 6 months of winter. So it's a pretty short winter. And so once again, this is when you'd be heavily buying. You're below the bands. They're all red. This is the time that you want to be buying Bitcoin and really getting into it while everybody's scared of it. That's when you want to be going into it. So we're back into Bitcoin Spring. We didn't quite close a green candle outside of the bands. We did close some red ones, but reds don't count. It's only the green ones. That's what's going to begin it, and it just missed. It just barely missed closing out on the outside. So we continue on. This was a long spring. Look how many months is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 months. Year and 3 quarters. Or year and a half. A little over a year and a half. So these time periods can last quite a bit of times, and they don't have any set pattern. It's all about this is why time in the market is more important than timing the market. And so this is when you would want to start raising your dollar cost averaging up, and I'll explain that in another video how I do that. So then again, Bitcoin summer, we have a green candle closes outside. It has its high and its low outside of the bands, and it has to be green. That's the kickoff of Bitcoin summer. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, and then it crashed back down here. This was it touched the barely touched, but it did touch. And you see it actually went up a little bit further. This was when FTX and all the craziness that was happening with the market. That's when all this went down. So a lot of it was artificially suppressed by FTX. So this probably would have hit 100,000 had it not been for FTX. We know now that they were artificially pushing the price down. And then so finally we close a red candle inside the bands, high and its low, or inside or below the bands. That's the beginning of Bitcoin winter. Boom. We got a long winter now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months, almost a year of winter time. So, and then, oops, I messed this up. This is actually didn't begin. Where's the? This goes over one more, two more. That was your Bitcoin spring. So this is the time you planted in the winter, and then this is the time where you start, seeing growth out of what you planted in the winter, and then now we're into Bitcoin summer again. So that's the Bitcoin seasons in a nutshell. Keep it very simple. This is the 21 EMAs. This is the 21 high. This is the 21 close, and this is the 21 low. So it averages the highs of all these candles. That's the tips. This averages the close. This is whether they're closed up or down. Like red candles close down here on the bottom, green candles close on the top. So that's what this line represents. And then this candle represents the lows, which is the tips of the wicks down here, the average 21-day average or 21-month average. And so that's the Bitcoin seasons in a nutshell. And I hope you like this video. I hope this makes it, I try to make it as simple as possible and using real everyday world cases. So we can go back here. We can start again. Like I said, so the chart doesn't go back, doesn't start populating the moving averages until here, because it didn't have, there's 21 months right here, and then it finally started here in 2012 in this chart. And that's why it starts at Bitcoin summer, not Bitcoin spring or anything like that. Then, like I said, Bitcoin fall, Bitcoin winter, spring again, summer, fall, winter. It goes through these seasons. And some of the seasons, like this Bitcoin spring, was a long spring, and the summer was very short. This was a pretty long fall. This is a fairly medium winter and a medium spring. Now, who knows how long this summer is going to last. And we do have a red candle that's a little bit bothersome, but I kind of more worried about the weekly candles to tell me where we might be topping out. Right now I'm not too worried, but it's still very far away from the moving average. So that is it. Thanks for coming by. Please like and subscribe my videos, and we'll see you at the next video. Thanks.